which is extraordinary. So thank you very much for having me. People ask me, what do I do? And actually, I never quite know the answer. I do quite a lot of stuff. I start things off. I lose clickers. I bring people together. I don't know. I'm not very good at finishing stuff. I'm really good at starting things off. And I do these things with, I think, with curiosity. I asked people who know me words that they thought would maybe describe the way I do stuff. And these were the words that came up. I do things with curiosity. I do things that are simple because I'm not very good with complexity. I ask very simple questions and they take me interesting places. I am very human and I'm also very kind. And those things have taken me on a journey. So I thought I'd share some of that journey with you today. It'll involve a couple of pairs of shoes, a business or two, a charity, a bit of heartbreak, a bit of hope, and I hope that some of it resonates with you. So very first question, I don't know if any of you can remember as far back as 1999, when people were worried about the millennium bug. I mean, what was that? Bloody hell, you know, try explaining that to your children. Anyway, at that time, I had a small business, my brother had a small business, and he was using a telephone answering service to look after his calls, and the service screwed up one of his calls. He lost his biggest order ever. He was a bit unhappy. But that led to this question, which was, why can't there be an answering service where the person who looks after your calls is someone that you know and trust? So this was a very simple question. We didn't know anything about telephone answering services. We didn't know anything about running a business together. We didn't know anything about anything. But what we did know was that experience of being a client. And so we set up Moneypenny. We didn't have any money. Nobody would lend us any money. We think we had about £15,000 when we started out. And we looked down the back of a lot of sofas to gather that much. And we weren't very good at very much, but we were very good at writing lists. And those lists, there were two very simple lists. What would I want if I was working for Moneypenny? What would I want if I was a client of Moneypenny's? And answering those lists stood us in very good stead. And I'm really happy to report that the business has worked. So from that very inauspicious start in sunny Wrexham, which is hitting the headlines for all sorts of reasons at the moment, which is great for us, we've created quite a special business. And that business is, today, we employ about 1,300 people. We employ 800 people in Wrexham. We employ the rest in Atlanta, in the US. We look after calls, live chat, all sorts of customer conversation stuff, something like 20 million customer conversations a year on behalf of about 20,000 businesses ranging in size from small one-man bands. And that's where our heart and soul were at the beginning, was for the small businesses. But we're now looking after calls for everything from small one-man bands up to huge multinationals, Magic Circle law firms. It still blows my mind. And to actually run that business, we had to step into different shoes every day. Every day we had to step into the shoes of the most important people at Moneypenny while we were still we do now. Who is the most important person in this business? It is our people who look after our clients. It's not me, it's not Ed, it's not Joanna, our chief exec. It's the people who walk through our doors every day and give us their time and energy. So we create an environment in which those people can thrive. And that has resulted in a place of welcome, of joy, I would suggest. We have great fun together, and of hard work, of knowing what good looks like and doing our best every day to deliver what good looks like. And nothing exemplifies that more than this beautiful building. So about 10 years ago now, we realized that we might be able to raise a mortgage to build this building. We hadn't borrowed a penny in our lives. We had, I think the word is bootstrap the business. We just thought it was growing the business. This building cost 13 million quid. And we had never built a building before. And it's very unusual for people to build buildings who own businesses. But we thought, well, nobody else is going to build a building that we need for our business to do this. So we actually sat down and we, coming back to that thing about simple questions, we asked all of our team what did they want from their new home. And they told us. And they told us that they wanted calm, quiet working spaces, they wanted social spaces, they wanted car parking, they wanted natural ventilation, they wanted natural light. So this building was designed like a butterfly, so nobody sits more than 3 meters from natural light, naturally ventilated, and it's just a beautiful space in the middle of a field in Wrexham, and it's very unexpected. And I think there are a couple of people in this room who've been there, and I think they will tell you that walking in there is quite an experience. And we do like to think that we are the happiest office in the land. And what's great about that happiest office is that I don't have to run it anymore. So as when we started off Moneypenny, we were very aware of, we're Ed and I, great generalists, not great specialists. So we sort of had a list of our weaknesses, and then we backed out of the business by recruiting specialists as we required them. And so I'm still a major shareholder of the business. I get to go in and meet all the glorious people who work for us and breathe Moneypenny air, but I don't have to be there every day. But my biggest joy at Moneypenny was actually seeing what our team were capable of achieving with the love and care that we gave them. And so that led me to my next big question, which is what happens if we give the love and support that the rest of us take for granted, that at Moneypenny we were taking for granted. What would happen if you gave that love and support to young people in our community who maybe haven't had the best start in life? And so, time for another list. Sat down and thought, what would I want if I was 19 years old living in the shitty homeless hostel in Wrexham? And the answer to that, again, comes back to being humans. Let's just step into those shoes and think, how would it feel if I had no one in the world who cared for me, was living in this terrible place with no hope, no aspiration? And so, from my safe little middle-class, middle-aged world, wrote a list. And that list comprised of all sorts of things like, I would want to know what work looked and felt like. I would want to know what it looked and felt like to have somebody on my side. I would want to have a life coach. I would want to go and experience new things. So we created what we called it's now a charity. It's called WeMindTheGap. And we fill gaps in young people's lives with the stuff that the rest of us take for granted. It is the hardest, most emotionally challenging thing that I have ever done in my life. But my God, it is the most life-affirming, because to see these young people grow and thrive with the simple power of human friendship and connection and support, that's the fairy dust. And it's amazing. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing privilege. So we mind the gap now. We run programmes in Manchester, in Wrexham, in Flintshire, in Liverpool. We're growing. And our team is growing. Amazing people come and work for us. Sir John Timpson is our patron. And it's powerful stuff. And it's great stuff. But actually, this is where it gets hard, this talk. Moneypenny and WeMindTheGap, they are mere side hustles. Sorry. I have never talked about this before. Bear with me. I'll get there. These 3 warrior women are my daughters, Josie, Beth and Nell. And on the 13th of August 2019, Josie died. I'm sorry. She drowned while we're on holiday. And all of that stuff, all of that doing, all counted for nothing. And we were lost. And on the day it happened, this is a friend of mine called Craig. In 2007, when he was 21, Craig, he lost his eyesight. He was in Basra and he got hit by a rocket-propelled grenade. And when he came to after that terrible thing, his first thoughts were, shit, I can't see, but I'm here and my body works. And on the day we lost Josie, I just thought of Craig. And he reckons that not tormenting himself with why, but just accepting what had happened and moving on from that place was what has allowed him to be living a full and happy life when so many of his comrades who are in similar situations are not. And so today he's still a gobby scouser. And he's remarkably, he's an estate agent, as you do. And he's got a huge property portfolio. And he's a proud father and and he's a lovely friend. And so Craig was important to me. And so I'd just like to talk about, I've never spoken about Josie in public before. And I just want to tell you, if you don't mind, just a story about her, which is that a friend told me after we had a celebration of her life on what would have been her 19th birthday. And there were hundreds of people there. We had this beautiful marquee in our garden. And a friend came and told me this story that she'd just come back from travelling around Asia, and she had lost her shoes one night. She lost everything all the time. And so she went out in bare feet. And while they were out, she went to the loo, and then she came back to Lara, her friend, Swanee, her boyfriend, and said, "Oh my God, I lost my shoes, and look, the universe has gifted me some shoes." And she'd walked out to the loo, and there'd been a pair of flip-flops waiting for her. So Josie was just like, "I'm so lucky I've got flip-flops. I've got shoes. The universe has given me shoes." So she felt that she was extraordinarily lucky. And she was somebody who, she felt she was lucky. And I know that she knew that she was loved. She loved, and she lived life to the full. And her sisters stood up at that celebration and just implored everyone to be more Josie, to be lucky and to live more, laugh more, love more. You know, there's NAF signs on we've just got to do that. And so now this thing has happened to me, to us. I feel like I've got a cloak of something very special. And it's my Josie cloak, and it makes me fearless. And in terms of what I do now, I don't know what that is. I don't know what the future holds for me. But I know that I can do it safe in her love and her life and her laughter and her her vim and vigour is amplified through her sisters. And that just gives us more and more, and we can go and do more and be more. And that makes me. So I am stepping into different shoes myself. I'm stepping into, like Josie, I lost my shoes. And now I'm wearing a pair of, when Josie arrived back at the airport, these bloody flip-flops, they were 3 sizes too big. She didn't care. So I'm wearing her dirty, filthy, 3 sizes too big flip-flops, and I'm just trying to learn to walk in them, really. But the way that I can keep on walking is by just keeping on. It's by accepting what I cannot change. I cannot change the fact that I have this Josie-shaped hole, that we all have this Josie-shaped hole in our lives. But I can change absolutely what I cannot accept. And by actually knowing that that gives me something to do, I can carry on doing, I can muddle on by doing, is fabulous. So come lockdown was very difficult for us. As you can imagine, you know, we'd been 5 at the table, and suddenly we were 4. And lockdown forced us to be 4. And that was really hard. But actually, if it wasn't for lockdown, I believe that the 4 of us would have scattered to the 4 corners out of fear of being 4 around the table. So lockdown forced us to be that. So I'll take that, because we're a pretty cool unit. We're not the unit we want to be, but we are the unit that we are. And oh my God, I just clicked that the wrong way. I'm so sorry. Oh, and I'm going, oh my God, 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 I'm so sorry. What have I done? Oh, Yvonne.
The bottom one.
It's the bottom one. Oh my God. Sorry. Accept when I cannot change and change when I cannot accept. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Yvonne. Sorry.
It's okay.
So in this painful place of lockdown, I was thinking, what the fuck can I do? You know, there must be something I needed to be doing to keep my energy going forward. And so I had an amazing charity team who were brilliant at working with young people. And we were talking about furloughing them. And I was thinking, no, bloody hell, we can't furlough them. Because what I couldn't accept was the fact that there were all these poor kids who hadn't sat their GCSEs, who'd left school prematurely, and who were sitting at home alone, afraid, lonely. And so what we did was we kind of, I just locked myself in a room and I wrote a program which is now called We Discover. And it's the online version of our employment program, all the edited highlights, and it's online. So what we've done is we've taken a program to our young people while they're in their bedrooms. And it has really been powerful and really worked. And so lockdown forced me, you know, my muscle memory of doing, I had to kind of indulge that, and it forced me to keep doing something. That's one of the things. So I've done 3 things. These are my muddling doing things. These are what I'm trying to do while I work out what the hell I do. Anyway, next thing is we had this kind of realization that our family history is inexplicably linked with Mallorca, which is where Josie died. We were in the process of buying a house there, and we were staying in a villa in the beautiful village of Alaro, which I don't know if any of you know, but I can't recommend it highly enough. And so rather than reject a place, we decided to embrace it. And we met a rather lovely builder who did a big project for us, young, really ambitious guy and his gorgeous wife. And we were looking at sort of what we do, you know. And I said to David, well, why can't we do something here in Mallorca and bring new opportunity to here? And I love building Moneypenny gave me such joy. Building Moneypenny metaphor, you know, the building and the business, but kind of, I love buildings, I love spaces. And so this has allowed me to indulge that part of me. And we've set up a property development company in Mallorca, and that celebrates the things that I want to celebrate, which is, you know, property development doesn't have a great reputation sometimes, but actually it's all about building beautiful houses and beautiful places that are sustainable, using local resources, local talents. And we've built these extraordinary houses that, well, I'll tell you when we sold them, whether they're extraordinary or not, but right now they look extraordinary. But this is our first house that we actually did the launch for our business last week, so I'll get back to you on whether that's working or not. But it's great for us because, well, it's great for me personally, because I feel like we're bringing something to the island that wasn't there before. And we're creating jobs. We employ over 20 people, and it's doing, and it's keeping me moving. It's keeping me moving. And then the third thing is, got some very scary stats, is that 40% of young people right now do not regularly attend school. There's over 100,000 children in the UK that have disappeared off school rolls since pre-pandemic, and nobody knows where those children are. And I think I'm thinking, well, go and find them. You know, they must be somewhere. Let's go and find them. So what we're doing is we are creating we're calling it the big conversation, and it's a place-based thing. So I'm thinking, well, surely we must know where our young people are. We need to go and knock on their doors and find them. And we need to find out what they want, what they need, and then we as a community need to give them what they want and what they need so that they can move forward in their own. Because we don't know, nobody in this room knows what our young people need and want. Because we're not them. We haven't had our education stopped because of a pandemic. You know, we know, I bet everybody in this room knows a teenager in crisis. And I bet if I'd asked you that question 10 years ago, that wouldn't be the case. So our young people are absolutely in crisis. And we need to do something about it. So I've got this whole thing about how, and I would love to change the system, whatever the system is, but actually there's no way that we can change a system before, in time to affect these young people's lives. But what we can do is change the systems within communities. So let me give you an example. 2 weeks ago, the WeMindTheGap team went and we ran we were invited to take place for an employability event for young people. So our team went along with their shiny banners and leaflets, sat in a room, in a community centre, for a whole day with 25 other organisations. 5 young people turned up. 3 of them were ones that we'd told to come. Imagine if those 25 people, think about what money and time and energy has been to create an event that nobody wants to come to. So we as a community are doing things that are not relevant to our young people, but we obviously have the resources to do them. So let's have the conversation about how we spend those resources in better ways. So what if every one of those 25 organisations had gone and knocked on a young person's door and said, what do you want? How, what's standing in your way? What can we do to support you? That would have made a change. So what we're doing is we're doing this place-based inquiry, and we are talking to young people aged 18 to 21 with a thoroughness that has never, ever been done before. And we're asking, what do you need? What can, all those kind of things. Then we're also looking at what the community resources are. And then we're also looking at what local employers, what they're looking for, looking at what local colleges and training institutions have. I know I've got to stop in a minute. I will do, I promise. And so we're marrying all those things up, so we'll create a tapestry of opportunity for our young people. We'll be able to spot where the gaps are, and then we'll be able to make sure that funds are directed. So I think we can do this without spending much money. So that's where we are. I wanted to speak to every 18 to 21-year-old in Wrexham, obviously, but I've been told that, Rachel, that's a bit unrealistic. But actually, in the last 3 months, we've spoken to over 10% of young people, and it's been bloody hard to do that. So we're doing something really brave, and the community of Wrexham is going to be doing something really, it's going to be really uncomfortable, but who gives a shit about uncomfortable? Because we're going to do the right thing for our young people, and we're going to just galvanise the resources that we do have in different ways so that our young people can thrive. And so that's what I'm doing for now, while I work out what I do. And I'm doing it with love, with my daughter's constant energy and presence. And I'll let you know how I get on. So thank you.